Set in the not-so-distant future, the story follows a man named Mikey who's on the run from ruthless debt collectors. He's not alone. His best friend, Timo, owes a huge amount of money to the same vicious loan shark. The loan shark isn't even interested in getting his money back. He simply enjoys hunting down and killing anyone who misses a payment.
Anyone who misses the deadline, we chase them to the ends of the earth.
Looks expensive.
Rest assured.
Luckily, he gives them one final deadline to repay the debt, giving Mikey and Timo a chance to disappear before their time runs out. Around the same time, the news is flooded with reports about a billionaire visionary named Kenneth Marshall, who's recruiting volunteers for a one-way space mission to a newly discovered planet. Since Earth is no longer considered habitable, the mission is humanity's chance to start over. Seeing it as the perfect escape from the loan shark, Mikey and Timo immediately sign up. Because Timo is skilled with machinery, he's accepted as a technician. Mikey, on the other hand, has no special talents. Without fully understanding what he's signing up for, he casually volunteers as an expendable, not realizing what the job actually involves. Out of all the applicants, Mikey turns out to be the only person willing to take the role, and it's far more horrifying than he ever imagined. His job is to die over and over again for dangerous experiments. Each time he dies, he's cloned and brought back to life using an advanced human printer. Before the process begins, Mikey's memories are copied onto a small brick-shaped hard drive. Once that's done, the printer creates an entirely new body using recycled organic waste, including leftover food, human waste, and other discarded biological material. As soon as his memories are safely backed up, the original Mikey is shot and killed, permanently erasing his first body.
Put it to your head and pull the trigger. This is the final requirement to become an expendable.
During the 4-year journey to the new planet, Mikey is printed again and again as the mission's expendable test subject. He's sent on deadly repair missions outside the ship where he's exposed to lethal cosmic radiation. He volunteers for experiments involving toxic gases, poisonous alien atmospheres, and experimental vaccines designed to help humans breathe safely on the new world. For 4 straight years, Mikey lives, dies, gets printed again, and dies all over again. The cycle never ends. To the scientists, his life has almost no value because they can simply print another copy whenever he dies. The important thing to remember is that Mikey's original memories are safely stored inside that small brick-shaped hard drive. Technically, each clone isn't the original Mikey, but every new version wakes up with the exact same memories, personality, and experiences. He even remembers every painful death he has ever suffered. After 4 years of living this nightmare, Mikey finally finds something worth holding onto. He falls in love with a kind and caring security officer named Nasha, who stays by his side and supports him through every one of his countless deaths. When the crew finally reaches their destination, a planet called Niflheim, the 17th version of Mikey is assigned to an exploration team. But during the mission, everything changes when they come face to face with the planet's mysterious native creatures. Everyone is left completely stunned. During the mission, one of the crew members fires his weapon at the ceiling of a cave. Instead of hitting anything, the shot triggers a collapse, and he's crushed to death by the falling rocks. When the team returns to the ship, Marshall is furious after learning that one of his best crew members has died. In his eyes, the one who should have died was Mikey, since he can simply be printed again. As punishment for failing his mission, Marshall orders Mikey to spend an entire week exploring the planet alone, with no one allowed to accompany him. While exploring, Mikey accidentally falls into a deep underground cave. Timo happens to find him there and could easily pull him out, but he chooses not to. Since Mikey is expendable, Timo figures there's no point risking himself because another copy can always be printed. A few moments later, strange alien creatures called creepers appear and drag Mikey into their nest. It looks like Mikey 17 is about to meet another gruesome end, but surprisingly, the creepers have no intention of hurting him. Instead, they gently help him climb back to the surface and let him go unharmed. After wandering alone for who knows how long, Mikey finally makes it back to the colony by hitching a ride on a passing transport truck. The first thing he does after arriving is ask what day and time it is. He's terrified that everyone has already assumed he was dead and printed a replacement. If that's happened, there would be 2 Mikeys alive at the same time, which is strictly forbidden. Unfortunately, his worst fear has already come true. This is Mikey 18. Unlike every version before him, Mikey 18 is completely different. He's arrogant, fearless, tough, and incredibly confident. He's not timid or soft-hearted like Mikey 17. Since the rules forbid two active clones from existing at the same time, Mikey 18 decides the simplest solution is to get rid of Mikey 17 by throwing him into the ship's incinerator pit. Before he can do it, Timo shows up in the middle of an illegal deal, selling a futuristic drug called Oxyoval. As the two Mikeys watch him, they both agree that Timo has always been a toxic friend who's done nothing but drag them into trouble. Unlike the timid Mikey 17, the fearless Mikey 18 immediately decides to throw Timo into the incinerator instead. But just before he can act, the ship's commander arrives, forcing him to back off and unintentionally saving Timo's life. When Nasha arrives, she quietly tells Mikey 18 to leave while she takes Mikey 17 back to his room. Instead, the gentle Mikey 17 is summoned to Marshall's private dining room, completely unaware that the meal he's about to eat is an experimental artificial meat still being tested. As expected, the food poisons him almost immediately, proving that the product isn't safe for human consumption. Marshall is about to execute Mikey on the spot, but a female crew member named Kai steps in just in time, stopping him and escorting Mikey 17 out of the room. To Mikey's surprise, Kai admits she's been a huge fan of his for a long time and has always wanted to date him. The confession completely embarrasses Mikey 17 because he's deeply loyal to Nasha and has no intention of cheating on her. But when he finally returns to his room, he's hit with an even bigger surprise. Instead of being horrified that two Mikeys now exist, Nasha actually loves the idea. She's perfectly happy to keep both versions of him and promises to keep their secret from everyone else. Not long after, Kai catches Nasha spending time with both Mikeys. Realizing that Nasha wants to keep them both for herself, Kai jokingly tries to negotiate, asking if she can have one of the Mikeys instead. Kai suggests a compromise. Mikey 17 can stay with her, while Mikey 18 stays with Nasha. To her, it seems like the fairest solution, and she promises to keep the existence of both Mikeys a secret. But Nasha refuses. She's far too possessive and has no intention of sharing Mikey with anyone. Her refusal quickly turns into a heated argument between the two women. While they're still bickering, Marshall takes the stage to deliver another one of his self-congratulatory speeches. Craving praise and recognition, he proudly unveils a mysterious black rock, declaring it a symbolic reminder that this planet will become humanity's new home. Watching the ceremony only fuels Mikey 18's hatred for Marshall. Tired of his arrogance and constant abuse of power, he secretly grabs Nasha's pistol and heads straight toward the event, determined to assassinate him. Just as Mikey 18 is about to pull the trigger, two baby creepers suddenly emerge from inside the black rock. The crowd freezes in shock, but Mikey 18 fires anyway. The shot kills one of the baby creepers. The chaos allows Marshall's security team to move in immediately. Mikey 17, Mikey 18, and even Nasha are arrested, all accused of being involved in the attack. While they're locked up, Timo shows up. At first, it seems like he's there to help, but instead he delivers terrible news. The loan shark they escaped from still hasn't given up. He reveals that he has someone working aboard the ship who can kill either Mikey or Timo whenever he wants. If they ever want their debt erased and their lives back, one of them has to die, and the execution must be recorded as proof. Since Mikey can always be printed again, Timo begs the timid Mikey 17 to sacrifice himself for his friend's sake. But his emotional plea is completely selfish. Timo has always been a toxic friend who constantly takes advantage of Mikey. The massive debt they owe wasn't even for a shared business venture. Most of the money was blown by Timo on his own reckless lifestyle and personal luxuries. Just as Mikey 17 is about to accept his fate, Mikey 18 suddenly interrupts. He volunteers to die instead. According to him, Mikey 17 is too weak and soft to survive much longer anyway. Mikey 18, on the other hand, is fearless, tougher, and far more entertaining. If the loan shark enjoys watching brutal deaths, then his execution would make for a much better show. However, before agreeing to die, Mikey 18 asks for one last request. He wants a dose of the illegal drug Oxyoval, treating it like a prisoner's final cigarette before execution. The request is all part of his plan. Using the opportunity, Nasha and Mikey 18 easily outsmart Timo and overpower him. They're just about to finish him off when the ship's commander suddenly intervenes and escorts all three of them to Marshall's office. As they're being led through the ship, they look outside and discover thousands of creepers surrounding the colony. The creatures have come to retrieve their young, the two baby creepers that emerged from the black rock earlier. What they don't know is that one of those babies has already been killed on Marshall's orders. Once everyone arrives, Marshall marks Mikey 18's face so he can easily tell the two clones apart. Instead of executing them immediately, he straps explosive collars to both Mikey 17 and Mikey 18. The detonator stays in Marshall's hand, meaning he can kill either of them at any moment. Then he turns the whole thing into a twisted game. Marshall orders both Mikeys to leave the ship and compete against each other by hunting creepers. Whoever returns with the most creeper tails will be declared the winner and rewarded with a full pardon. Before sending them out, one of the scientists gives Mikey 17 and Mikey 18 an experimental translation device designed to communicate with the creepers. It's still being tested, but the scientist hopes it'll work well enough to avoid a disaster. When the two Mikeys finally meet the Creeper Queen, they ask why her species has surrounded the colony. As Mikey 17 suspected, the creepers never came to attack the humans. They only want to rescue their two babies, which became trapped inside the mysterious black rock. Struggling to find the right words, Mikey 17 reluctantly tells the truth. One of the babies has already been killed on Marshall's orders, and the other is being held hostage above an incinerator pit, with Marshall threatening to throw it into the flames. The moment the Creeper Queen learns that one of her children is dead, she becomes furious. She warns that every human will die. According to the translator, if all the creepers scream together at the same frequency, the sound waves will be powerful enough to rupture human eyes and literally destroy their brains. Realizing how close they are to total war, Mikey 17 and Mikey 18 desperately try to negotiate a peaceful solution. The Creeper Queen agrees to one condition. To make up for the death of her child, one human life must be sacrificed in return. Meanwhile, Nasha sees the two Mikeys talking peacefully with the Creeper Queen and rushes back to warn Marshall and his wife. She begs them to return the surviving baby before it's too late. But Marshall is far too arrogant to back down. Determined to look fearless in front of his followers, he marches outside with his armed soldiers and declares war on the creepers. Ironically, the humans are the real invaders. They came to this planet and threatened its native inhabitants, not the other way around. With cameras rolling to record what he believes will become the greatest military victory in human history, Marshall prepares to launch a poisonous gas attack aimed directly at the Creeper Queen. The creepers, however, prove they're far more intelligent than anyone expected. The instant they sense the danger, they form a massive living shield around their queen, protecting her from the attack. At the same time, Nasha takes matters into her own hands. She grabs Marshall's wife, holds her at knife point, and threatens to kill her unless the surviving baby creeper is returned immediately. She has only one demand: give the baby back and stop this war before it begins. Unlike Marshall, the ship's commander understands the situation. Realizing that Nasha is right, he agrees to help her. Marshall's wife is quickly taken into custody after being accused of numerous crimes and inhumane acts committed during the mission. Without wasting another second, Nasha rushes outside carrying the surviving baby creeper and safely reunites it with its mother. At that moment, Mikey 18 realizes there's only one person whose death could truly end the conflict: Marshall. He's the one responsible for the baby's death and for pushing both species to the brink of war. To fulfill the Creeper Queen's demand for a human life in exchange for her child, Mikey 18 chooses to sacrifice Marshall. Even though he's arrogant, reckless, and fearless, Mikey 18 proves he still has a conscience. He's willing to risk everything to stop a pointless war before it destroys both humans and creepers alike. Mikey 18 carries out his decision right in front of Mikey 17, bringing an end to Marshall's reign and preventing the war before it can begin. 6 months later, life on the new planet has completely changed. Nasha is appointed chair of the colony's governing committee, putting her in charge of leading humanity's first generation on their new home. As for Timo, one of the loan shark's hired killers eventually tracks him down. This time, however, Timo fights back and successfully defends himself. Mikey's life also takes a new direction. He grows much closer to the creepers, especially their queen. During one of their conversations, he learns a surprising truth: the creeper's terrifying high-frequency scream was never actually capable of exploding human eyes or brains. It was nothing more than a bluff used to scare Mikey and the rest of the humans into backing down. In the film's final moments, Mikey is given the honor of destroying the advanced human cloning printer once and for all. And that's where the story comes to an end. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.